found some photos of you. So you did bodybuilding. Can you tell me when and why you got into bodybuilding?
I'm going to burst your bubble,
Okay.
unfortunately. The person that you've Googled is...
Hi YouTube, my name is Sean Park and welcome to another episode of Awkward Conversation. Today I'm here with Professor Elgawly. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Professor, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Michael Elgawly. I'm an economics instructor at Rutgers University. I've been here for 5 years now with the economics department.
Why should students learn economics?
That's a good question, and it's probably why I love teaching this course, because I think regardless of the career choice that students make, I think one day they're all going to be economists. Whether you're managing a multinational, multi-billion-dollar organization, or you're managing your own household, the objective is going to be the same, right? It's just the scale of the objective. If you're a CEO, you're looking to maximize shareholders' equity, increase revenue, minimize cost. If you're managing your household, the objective is exactly the same. You're going to minimize your costs, your bills, utilities, your rent, your mortgage, and you're going to maximize your revenue, which is your income. So whatever career path you undertake, whether you like it or not, you're going to be an economist. And I think it's important that students have the skill sets to understand how the economy works to make better decisions.
I saw on your LinkedIn page that you've worked in client relationship management at Morgan Stanley and Credit Suisse for a very long time. What is client relationship management and what made you go into it?
Yeah, CRM really was something I fell into accidentally. Ironically, it's really did not pertain to my skill sets. It was actually the first time I ever got into a situation where I had to do public speaking. And if you knew me 20 years ago, you'd never imagine me doing any kind of public speaking. So CRM, client relationship management, really was during the 90s, online platforms were becoming increasingly pertinent to our clients. Clients can now able to see their positions and their market values on their positions in real time, which is something obviously at that time was revolutionary. And the CRM group was an opportunity for me to move up to a management position. And what the job really entailed was I would literally, my entire job literally was based on me traveling to client sites with the IT group and demoing the product, the platform, the Morgan Stanley online platform. Obviously, the IT guys were responsible for the sort of the functionalities of the platform. I, on the other hand, would answer all inquiries in regard to how the client can see their data in real time, how they can calculate them, get their market value, and get their end-of-day net asset value. So they needed somebody who was familiar with finance to sort of be able to handle all the finance inquiries that came from the clients. We didn't only just go to our current clients, but we also went to prospective clients because, as you might have guessed, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, all the top investment banks were really pushing these products out, and we basically highlighted the differences and differentiated our products from our competitors, and hopefully would attract more clients to our firm.
Can you tell me one fun memory from your career in finance?
Sure. And it wasn't fun at the time. However, in retrospect, it was rather humorous, and I'll explain why in a minute. In my job, I mostly dealt with derivative products, interest rate swap, credit default swaps, mortgage-backed securities, a lot of the products that you might have heard about during the financial recession. In one particular instance, I was evaluating a British pound interest rate swap, and the swap ended on a Monday in April, which was the Monday after Good Friday. Europeans usually have Good Friday off and Easter Monday off. And I evaluated that swap on that Monday, which was incorrect because it was a holiday.
Right.
I should have pushed it back out another day. And obviously that changed the valuation of the swap by about slightly over $200,000. So it was a significant difference. And believe it or not, the swap was a one-year swap, and we didn't realize it until obviously the money had to exchange hands. And when I validated the swap, I used the wrong date. I should have pushed it out to Tuesday, and it cost my firm as I mentioned, $200,000, slightly over $200,000. I was put on probation for 3 months. And if I made any other mistakes, it would have meant me being canned. Obviously, you could imagine the flack and the humor I took from my coworkers, right? Don't make a mistake today. And they would obviously, in jest, it was obviously, they weren't obviously being malicious, but they were just joking. Once the 3-month period ended, obviously, they were all patting me on the back and saying, okay, thank God you didn't get fired. But when I look back on it and all the comments and the remarks, that were done, again, they were in jest, humorous remarks. It was a very strenuous but also very humorous moment for me.
In microeconomics class last semester, I remember you telling the class that during the financial recession, you had to flip burgers and work as a bodyguard. Can you share that story?
Sure. I get laid off in, I remember the day because it was easy to remember. It's 11/11/11. It was November 11th, 2011. So it's an easy day to remember. And the reason why I got laid off was because of the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. As I mentioned, I dealt mostly with those derivative products, credit default swaps, interest rate swaps, and mortgage-backed securities. These were traded as over-the-counter. So basically, you and I would conduct a transaction, but the public or the street wouldn't know what was being traded. And that's what created this sort of risk in the street. Nobody knew how many MBSs and CDSs were on the books of, say, Merrill Lynch, Bear Stearns, and Lehman, who obviously, as you know, went bankrupt. So the new regulatory rules now were that these products had to be traded on exchanges. So my job almost literally became obsolete. So I was at a crossroads, and I didn't know what to do. And obviously, being in a financial crunch, I had to do anything to make money. And at that time, it just so happened that I was driving down this road, and I saw this day camp, and they were looking for employers. And believe it or not, I was, at that time, jobs were obviously very scarce. Nobody was hiring anybody in the financial industry. So I took the job, and the job entailed various things, 2 of which was flipping burgers and being the security guard in the parking lot, making sure that the people who are picking up their kids are parents, not, strangers. So I did that for the summer. I did it beyond the summer. Really, the only perk I got out of it was my kids went to camp for free because I worked there. But it was, when jobs are scarce and you need income, you're going to do anything to get it.
What is a skill that you need to succeed in the finance industry?
Well, that's a good question. Math skills are obviously extremely important. You have to be proficient in math. I think second, you need to be very proficient with software like Excel. How to run macros, how to do pivot tables. Extremely important. I think that's one of the basic skill sets that employers look for when you walk into a financial position. As far as education, I think you definitely need your master's. I think it'll set you apart. I don't think you learn enough in undergraduate, and that's not to sort of undermine an undergraduate degree. No, I just think you really need to get a graduate degree, because I think you learn so much more getting a master's in finance than you do just having an undergraduate degree. And lastly, I think, honestly, especially if you're in the financial service industry, you need a strong personality. Yeah, it's not an industry where you can be timid or shy or introverted. It needs people who are really sociable, very outspoken, confident, and are not easily rattled by comments or situations. So you need a strong personality too, as well.
Many students, including myself, have noticed your physique.
Thank you.
Also, I did some digging on you online, and I found some photos of you. So you did bodybuilding. Can you tell me when and why you got into bodybuilding?
I'm going to burst your bubble. Okay. Unfortunately, the person that you've Googled is not me.
That's not you?
No, it's not me. It's my cousin. So he's a bodybuilder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's okay, and I've had that mistake. Have students make that mistake often, because they come up and ask me, "Were you a bodybuilder?" I'm saying, "No, that's my cousin. He has the same name as me," and we do look somewhat similar. But no, his name is Michael Elgawly also. And he actually did extremely well bodybuilding in Florida. I think one time he came in second in the state. So he was very successful. On the other hand, I do work out. Okay. And I do work out often. And I just think I've been playing sports my whole life, and it sort of carried over once I entered the professional career. And my advice to anybody who wants to, work out, it's got to be a habit. It's got to be a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a lifestyle. And you really have to sort of grasp the whole notion of being physically fit 100%. As far as how you eat, how you work out, always looking for ways to change your workout and improve on it, how you could push your body to an even higher limit. My workouts are very strenuous, and it's very difficult with my job because, as you know, every semester I have different classes at different times, so I have to keep alternating my routine to fit around my schedule. But once it becomes a lifestyle, you'll make the sacrifices to make time to work out. And so you have to get to that point first, and it's hard. If you don't work out often, and if you haven't worked out before, it's a difficult track to get a grasp of.
Do you think being fit can give you an advantage in the finance field?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they say now sitting is the new smoking. So, a lot of these desk jobs, like a financial position, is going to unfortunately force you to sit for long periods of time. I'll tell you another funny story is that, in the 90s when I used to work with the financial industry, I used to literally stand while I worked, I used to get sort of boxes, these archive boxes, put my keyboard on top of it so I can stand while I'm working. People used to laugh at me. Why are you standing? I go, I just can't sit all day. It used to bother me. And then, 10 years later, they invented the Vera desks that rise up. And I was thinking to myself, man, if I would have thought of that when I was younger, I could have been wealthy now. But yeah, I think if a physical body, being in shape also enables you to would be more coherent and think clearly than you would if you were not in physical shape. You'd be tired. You'd more often. You'd feel fatigued more often, and I think that's detrimental to your ability to think in a coherent way.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.